The state's highest court will soon have its first black woman justice. 4th District Appellate Court Justice Lisa Holder White is set to replace Justice Rita Garman, who is retiring this summer. Holder White's term begins in July and will expire in 2024 after a full-time replacement is selected in the November 2024 elections. And Justice Lisa Holder White joins us now. Justice, congratulations on your new appointment. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you so much, and it's my pleasure to be here. I appreciate you inviting me.
Absolutely. So you're the first black woman to serve on the state's Supreme Court. What does it feel like to have broken that barrier?
It's very exciting. I've been asked that question quite a bit the last few days, and my response has been that it really makes me reflect on how fortunate I am, and also to reflect on the fact that there were so many who came before me who didn't have this opportunity. And so I'm very thankful and excited.
What do you think has taken so long? Why have there been so many who've come before you but didn't get this opportunity?
I don't know, but I'm glad that this barrier has been broken. And
you know what I love the most is the fact that we're still breaking barriers, but at the same time, it's a little messed up that we're still breaking barriers, that after all of this time, that is still an opportunity to be the first black something at something. Tell me your thoughts about that in the comments.
So I always look forward to the day when we don't have to say first this or first that. It's just commonplace.
So your appointment, it also comes during a historic year for the U.S. Supreme Court as well. Justice Ketanji Brown Jackson becomes the first black woman to sit on the highest court in the country. She will take the oath later. Do you think that we are making progress in diversifying positions of authority, particularly in government?
I do think we're making progress, and I think it's important to ensure that we have all perspectives and experiences represented, and particularly when you look at what percentage a certain group might be of a community or a population. And, everyone deserves to be represented.
And, speaking of representation, why is it important to have different perspectives and points of view on a court?
It's vital. And the thing about it is, on the Supreme Court, you have 7 justices, and each justice will bring with them their experiences, their professional background, and everything that makes them who they are. And so when you combine all these perspectives, there may be something that, based on your background, you're not really thinking about or doesn't seem to be an issue, and someone else with a different background will bring that to you and bring that up and, think that that is relevant to the decision. And so when we don't have all those voices, when we don't have those unique perspectives, we lose the benefit of that in making decisions.
You know what I was wondering? At first, I used to think that you had to have a law degree to be a judge in America. But when I looked it up, kind of find out, you don't. All you need to do is just win an election. That's it. You don't find that crazy like I do? I mean, so to serve as a judge, you don't need a law degree. I find that to be so crazy.
Justice, you're also a Republican. What kind of, perspective does your political ideology, how does that factor into the decisions that you make and how you view cases that come before you?
Well, of course, Illinois is unique in how we select our judges at the circuit court level, as well as at the appellate and Supreme Court level. We are elected, and we have to declare a party affiliation to run. But as judges, who would want to live in a world where you go before a Republican judge or a Democrat judge? Anyone who comes before the court deserves to be heard. They deserve to have their day in court and to have their matter resolved fairly and according to the law. And that's what my goal is as a judge, always.
Now, see, that's another thing right there. I always wondered, why does a judge have to hold a certain party? Whether they're Democrat or Republican. To me, it's a little biased. If you are a Republican judge, whether it's a Supreme Court judge or, whatever type of judge, you're going to be biased towards that particular party. I honestly believe that if you are a judge or, elected to be a judge and you hold any type of political party, you are banned. At least that's what I think. Is because that way, uh, everyone would get a fresh shake. You know what I'm saying? If you are presented before a judge and you are not the political party, you might actually get a fair case, or a fair hearing. I'm not saying that the judges are biased, but to me, it seems a little biased if you are considered a Republican judge or a Democratic judge. Tell me your thoughts about that in the comments.
Absolutely. So one of the biggest cases that the Illinois Supreme Court is hearing right now is Green versus the Chicago Police Department. Charles Green, who's now out of prison after serving 24 years for a 1984 quadruple murder, he's maintained his innocence. He says that he was coerced into a confession. He now wants the Chicago Police Department to release decades worth of misconduct records in an effort to clear his name. What can you say about this kind of case coming before the Supreme Court? What are your thoughts on this one?
Well, what I can say about that is one of the many things that I think it's important for us as judges to do, in addition to getting out in the community to allow them to get to know us and so that we can get to know them and have a relationship with the people that we're serving, is to educate the public with respect to our responsibilities. And as judges, unlike there's been a lot of discussion lately about the Supreme Court of the United States not necessarily having any ethical rules that they're constrained by or that they have to follow. We in Illinois, we have rules, and those rules prohibit us from discussing pending matters or matters that may come before the court. So based on that and my adherence to those ethical standards, I really can't speak to that case.
Understood. Of course, as you said, there's been a lot of talk about the Supreme Court lately with the leak that happened with regards to Roe versus Wade. I'm sure that you also cannot discuss that case as well, but there's been a lot of talk about the role of the courts. Same thing with the 2015 Shelby v. Holder decision in changing the Voting Rights Act. Not speaking about those cases, but about the role of the courts. How do you view the role of the judicial system?
As a judge, I really
If you made it to this point of the video, I want you to judge it by giving it a thumbs up. That'd be very much appreciated. It'll help the channel grow. Thank you.
view myself as a servant of the people. It is quite an honor and also quite a responsibility to resolve issues for people who come before you. And so I take that very seriously. I think people are entitled to know about decisions, have access to decisions, have their day in court and be respected and be heard. And so I view it as I'm a servant of the people, and it's my obligation and responsibility to do the very best that I can so that they do receive justice.
And before we let you go, Justice, your term ends in 2024 after the November election. Do you plan on running for that position?
I am absolutely running for the position, yes.
Okay. Best of luck to you. We'll see you
Thank
then.
you.
Thanks so much to Justice Lisa Holder-White, Designate. We appreciate you joining us.
Thank you.
Okay, so just like I was touching on earlier, I would love for it to get to a point to where we are no longer saying first Black or first Hispanic or first Asian. I would love to get to a point to where we are just people and we are serving at a position, and that's it. But I want you to tell me your thoughts about that in the comments. Tell me your thoughts about this video as well. And if you have experienced, had your day in court and she was the judge, or if you know someone that has, please express, give us details in the comments, paint us a picture. But as always, don't forget to like, share, watch more videos, and subscribe to the channel.